Hello there, I'm Pritha Manivannan and this is Nightline, the headlines. Special COVID-19 assistance payments to begin from September 6th. And government to announce new set of SOPs as COVID-19 becomes endemic in Malaysia. Good morning. After some delays, the Special COVID-19 Assistance BKC Cash Aid to assist the people affected by the pandemic will be disbursed to recipients from Monday. Prime Minister Datuk Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob said the first phase of the BKC involves a total allocation of 3.1 billion ringgit, which has been channeled to the related banks on Wednesday. In a statement, Datuk Sri Ismail Sabri said he had instructed the Finance Ministry to expedite the first phase of the BKC payments, which would be made between September 6th and 10th, while the dates of the subsequent payments would be announced later. The Prime Minister, who is undergoing self-quarantine after being identified as a close contact of a COVID-19 patient, said this following a virtual discussion with Finance Minister Datuk Sri Tengku Zafrul Abdul Aziz. Datuk Sri Ismail also said he was always mindful of the people's grievances and hoped that the BKC payments would help ease their burdens, adding that the government was committed in ensuring the well-being of the Malaysian family, especially the target groups. The BKC initiative is part of the National People's Wellbeing and Economic Recovery Package, or Pemulih, announced by the government on June 28th. The aid was supposed to be handed out to recipients in August. Meanwhile, Datuk Sri Tengku Zafrul said the BKC payments will be disbursed to the targeted groups in stages, starting with B40 recipients on Monday and M40 recipients on Thursday. The financial aid is expected to benefit 4.4 million households, 1.1 million senior citizens who were single or without a partner, and 4.5 million single individuals.
Secara keseluruhannya, inisiatif bantuan tunai ini dijangka akan memanfaatkan hampir 10 juta isi rumah dan individu warga emas serta bujang dengan peruntukan sebanyak 4.6 bilion ringgit. Bayaran BKC ini dijadualkan pada September, November dan Disember 2021.
Under the BKC, each eligible household in the hardcore poor category will receive 1,300 ringgit, while senior citizens living alone and single individuals will receive 500 ringgit. In the B40 category, each eligible household will receive 800 ringgit, while senior citizens living alone and single individuals will receive 200 ringgit. As for those in the M40 category, each eligible household will get 250 ringgit, while senior citizens living alone and single individuals will receive 100 ringgit. COVID-19 is expected to become endemic by end of October, which means Malaysians must learn to live with the virus as it will continue to be in the community. Newly minted Health Minister Khairy Jamaluddin said in this regard, the government will announce a new set of standard operating procedures SOPs that are not too complicated and easier to comply with to help the public prepare for the endemic phase. In his first official press conference as the Health Minister in Putrajaya on Wednesday, Khairy said such measure in transitioning to the endemic phase is consistent with other countries, which have also shifted from its total containment strategy with other aspects of new norms introduced.
Dengan adanya vaksinasi, usaha untuk mengadakan perubahan tingkah laku ataupun behavioral change dan usaha untuk mengamalkan SOP berterusan, kita boleh masuk fasa baru iaitu fasa endemik COVID-19. Langkah ini akan membolehkan pelbagai sektor dalam negara dibuka dan kehidupan kita kembali berfungsi seperti sedia kala dalam norma yang baharu.
However, he also stressed that Malaysia will maintain regulations compelling the usage of face masks in public areas, adding that the government would unlikely ease such regulation anytime soon. Khairi also denied reports that all fully vaccinated travellers, including Malaysians returning from abroad, can undergo home quarantine and explained that strict risk assessments by the Health Ministry are still in place. He said since August 10th, the ministry received 20,000 applications for home quarantine, and of the number, only 4,159 applications were approved.
Bahawa daripada mereka yang telah mohon untuk home quarantine, 404 daripada mereka sedang menggunakan peranti digital yang sekarang ini masih dalam fasa perintis, pilot project. They're using the digital device, bracelet, that is being used to monitor the home quarantine. Once we've gone through the pilot process or pilot project and we're satisfied with the efficiency and accuracy of the digital quarantine device, we can roll out to more people.
In ensuring that testing for COVID-19 is more affordable, he added the Cabinet has also agreed to set a ceiling price for rapid test kits, and it will be announced by the Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs Minister, Datuk Sri Alexander Nantalinggi, soon. In the same press conference, Khairi said there are still no plans to begin pediatric vaccination drives, saying the only current exception for students is the voluntary drive for adolescents suffering from comorbidities who are at higher risk of developing serious symptoms from COVID-19.
However, I would like to inform that in my negotiations with Pfizer have informed us that they may be coming up with a specific vaccine that will be used for children. And this vaccine will have different dosage levels than the present vaccine given to adults and adolescents. So we are still in negotiations with Pfizer, trying to get the requisite clinical data from Pfizer to see that the vaccine is safe and to see that the vaccine is efficacious. For now, we have not yet decided to go ahead with vaccines for children.
The government is also studying if it is necessary to give booster COVID-19 vaccine shots, adding that an expert committee has been set up and is expected to give its recommendation by month end. As for now, he said, the government will continue to focus on people who have yet to receive their first shot, as only 46% of Malaysians have been fully inoculated as of August 31st, and the focus is on states where the coverage is low. Khairi also stressed there are no deaths in the country linked to the COVID-19 vaccination so far, and through the monitoring of adverse events following immunization, AEFI, majority of serious cases only require a short period of hospitalization for observation and treatment. Khairi also pledged to increase his ministry's transparency by releasing in-depth COVID-19 data to the public.
Tapi saya telah buat ketetapan bahawa budaya kerja KKM selepas ini lebih kepada ketelusan supaya soal kepercayaan kepada kerajaan dan respon KKM kepada pandemik ini tidak lagi ada tuduhan kerahsiaan ataupun tidak lagi ada tuduhan tembok maklumat yang tidak dapat kita perolehi daripada kerajaan.
Among the types of information that can be expected to be made public are those concerning the source of infections and information on brought-in dead cases. The Home Ministry will review about 8,000 foreigners who are taking part in the Malaysia My Second Home MM2H program but have not been found residing in the country. Its Minister Datuk Sri Hamzah Zainuddin on Wednesday said he has instructed his officers to identify these participants but refused to reveal whether the approval granted to them would be revoked.
I've already asked the officers to go into detail, look at the possibilities of calling them, asking them about what's their intention of being peserta MM2H dalam negara kita.
Recently, the government, through the ministry, had made several changes to the conditions set for foreigners enrolled in the program, including limiting the quota of participants to not exceed 1% of the Malaysian population. On whether the existing pass holders would be exempted from the new conditions, Datuk Sri Hamzah said the matter was being studied by his ministry. He added that it was fair to provide some relaxation for participants who have reached the age of 70 and have resided in the country over the past 15 years in order to allow them to remain in the program. However, the relaxation to the new conditions would be on a case-by-case basis to ensure that MM2H participants could contribute to the development of the country. To date, some 57,000 foreigners comprising principal participants and their dependents have been given the long-term MM2H passes since the program commenced in 2002. Pulau Pinang on Wednesday passed a motion allowing candidates for the state election to be aged 18 and above in the next polls. It is the 7th state to do so after Sabah in 2019, followed by Perlis, Terengganu, Sarawak and Kelantan in 2020, as well as Perak in July this year. The move was made following an amendment to the state's constitution to lower the voting and eligibility age of candidates contesting for the state seats from 21 to 18 years old. The motion was proposed by State Youth and Sports Committee Chairman and Bagan Jermal Assemblyman Sun Lip Chi and seconded by Batu Mawang Assemblyman Dato Abdul Halim Hussein. Sun, in his winding-up speech, said based on statistics, 35% or 624,000 of the state's population of 1.77 million were aged 15 to 34. Therefore, it was important to give the young people a chance to take on an active role in politics as they will shape the country's future. 6 elected representatives debate the motion before it was supported by all 4 elected representatives, including opposition members, through voice vote. Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah has granted an audience to Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob for a pre-cabinet meeting via video conferencing on Wednesday. Istana Negara, in a brief statement posted on its official Facebook page, said the meeting, which began at 8:30 a.m., lasted about 30 minutes. It is also the first pre-cabinet meeting for Datuk Seri Ismail since being appointed as the nation's 9th Prime Minister. The pre-cabinet meeting is among the weekly activities or the main routine of Al-Sultan Abdullah to discuss and exchange views with the Prime Minister on government affairs and related issues. Meanwhile, the new cabinet's first meeting, chaired by Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri via video conferencing from his residence, focused on the latest situation of COVID-19 in the country. In a posting on his Facebook page, the Prime Minister also stressed on proactively reinforcing the health measures taken by all ministries in spurring economic activities to benefit the people. He added, quick and integrated actions were the main aspect to its freeing the country from the pandemic, economic slowdown and the political crisis faced by the people earlier. Datuk Seri Ismail also reminded all ministers that each ministry needs to prove their achievements within 100 days, adding that all forms of aid announced previously must be expedited, and he will ensure that his cabinet is based on results that prioritise the stability and safety of the Malaysian family. Businessman faces 69 counts of falsifying documents. This and more from the local front when we return. Welcome back. In Selangor, early findings from water samples collected at Sungai Semenyih revealed the possibility of effluent discharge by irresponsible people, which led to unscheduled water disruption in 5 districts in the state on Tuesday. State Tourism, Environment, Green Technology and Orang Asli Affairs Committee Chairman He Loy Sian said the incident was believed to have been occurred between 1 a.m. and 7 a.m. the same day after the water level rose due to heavy rain upstream. In a statement, he said joint inspections will be carried out by the Selangor Water Management Board, LUAS, Department of Environment, DOE, and Kajang Municipal Council at upstream premises that discharged these effluents to prevent a repeat of the problem. Investigations are also ongoing, involving a special secretariat consisting of agencies like LUAS, DOE and the National Water Services Commission SPAN to determine the source of pollution, which could take a few days. Based on an analysis released by Pengurusan Air Selangor Sendirian Berhad, trichloromethane, acetic acid and benzene were among the chemicals found in the water samples taken from Sungai Semenyih water treatment plant, which was shut down immediately after the water pollution was detected. Action will be taken on those found polluting a water source, which include a maximum 3 years in jail and up to 1 million ringgit fine. Meanwhile, Air Selangor gave an update on its Facebook page that the water supply restoration in the 463 affected areas has reached 66% as at 7 p.m. on Wednesday. It was reported that water supply disruption involved 172 areas in Petaling, 54 in Ulu Langat, 23 in Putrajaya and 20 in Kuala Langat. A businessman with a Datuk title believed to be the mastermind of a project tender cartel syndicate which monopolised government projects worth 3.8 billion ringgit was charged at the Shah Alam Sessions Court on Wednesday with 69 counts of falsifying documents. 47-year-old Datuk Adli Kamarudin pleaded not guilty to all the charges which were read out before Judge Rosila Saleh. It was alleged that Datuk Adli abetted the falsification of 69 documents for various projects to deceive the Public Works Department. The projects include construction of roads and colleges, installing air conditioning at several public universities and hospital buildings, as well as mechanical installation at Malaysian Armed Forces camps in Kuala Lumpur, Selangor and Pahang. He allegedly committed the offences at a bungalow in Bandar Baru Bangi between June 2019 to September last year. Each charge under the Penal Code carries a maximum 7 years in jail and a fine upon conviction. The court allowed bail of 500,000 ringgit with one surety and ordered the accused to report himself to the nearest Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission office every month, as well as to surrender his passport to the court. The judge then set November 3rd for mention. On April 7th, the media reported on a project tender cartel led by a businessman who has extraordinary wealth in terms of assets and cash, besides owning several luxury cars, a luxury yacht and 2 helicopters. The accused was arrested on April 4th. Japan finds black particles in yet another Moderna vaccine vial. We'll be right back with the details. You're still with us on Nightline. Now on to the foreign front. The World Health Organization, WHO, has said it is monitoring a new coronavirus variant known as Mu, which was first identified in Colombia in January. According to the global health body, in its weekly pandemic bulletin, Mu, known scientifically as B1621, has been classified as a variant of interest. The WHO said the variant has mutations that indicate a risk of resistance to vaccines and stressed that further studies were needed to better understand it. Since its first identification in Colombia in January 2021, there have been a few sporadic reports of cases of the Mu variant, and some larger outbreaks have been reported from other countries in South America and in Europe. Although the global prevalence of the Mu variant among sequenced cases has declined and is currently below 0.1%, the prevalence in Colombia and Ecuador has consistently increased. The WHO currently identifies 4 COVID-19 variants of concern, including Alpha, which is present in 193 countries, and Delta, present in 170 countries. Japan reported a fresh contamination case involving Moderna's COVID-19 vaccine, the fourth such incident in less than a week, threatening to slow the country's inoculation campaign. Kanagawa Prefecture said on Tuesday several black particles in one Moderna vaccine vial were found upon checking the foreign substances before its use. Now, some 3,790 people had already received shots from the batch, but now the rest of the lot has been put on hold. Last week, Japan suspended the use of 1.63 million doses of Moderna shots after being notified of contamination in some of the supply. Local media reports say there is no evidence so far of any health hazards caused by the potentially contaminated vaccine. Moderna and Spanish pharma company Rovi, which bottles Moderna vaccines, have said the cause could be a manufacturing issue. European safety regulators, meanwhile, have launched an investigation. Singapore's Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong was awarded more than $250,000 in damages Wednesday after winning defamation suits against a news website editor and writer. In the latest libel cases brought by the leader, chief editor of the online Citizen Asia, Terry Su, and a writer for the site were accused of defaming Lee in 2 separate lawsuits. The writer, Rubashini Shunmuganathan, had penned an article in 2019 about a bitter feud that has rocked the Premier's family. The row was between Lee and his siblings over the legacy of their father, Singapore's late founding leader, Lee Kuan Yew. The drama captivated a city-state unused of public feuds among the elite. Singapore's High Court ordered Su to pay 210,000 Singapore dollars in damages. In the second suit against the author, the judge awarded damages of 160,000 Singapore dollars, bringing the total to 370,000, which is about 275,000 US dollars. Lee will reportedly donate the damages to charity. Shafti Mission vows to pursue Muhammad Ziyad's case. Sports coming up next. Sports, the 2020 Tokyo Paralympics. Malaysia's chef de mission, CDM, Datuk Sri Megat D. Shariman Zaharuddin, on Wednesday has promised to do his best to fight for the fate of national shot put champion Muhammad Ziyad Zulkifli. Datuk Sri Megat D. Shariman, who is also the president of the Malaysian Paralympic Council (MPM), said the council would raise the disqualification of Muhammad Ziyad in the F20 shot put event with the International Paralympic Committee (IPC) and the World Para Athletes (WPA) once the games ended.
Kami di Majlis Paralimpik Malaysia masih belum berputus asa dan akan memanjangkan isu ini ke Jawatan Kuasa Paralimpik Antarabangsa (IPC) dan World Para Athletics sejurus berakhir termasya Paralimpik Tokyo 2020. Ini kerana tindakan itu hanya boleh dilakukan selepas berakhirnya Tamasya Paralimpik 2020.
He said he was also obtaining CCTV footage in the call room and waiting area of the Tokyo Olympic Stadium to get a clear situation of the incident for the purpose of evidence in pursuing further action. At the same time, he said that Muhammad Ziyad was relieved after being informed of the outcome of the CDM's meeting and hoped that the incident would not affect the focus of the country's athletes who will still be competing in Tokyo. He also requested for consideration from the government to give appropriate rewards for Muhammad Ziyad's outstanding services and achievement in Tokyo in appreciation of his sacrifices over the years. Earlier, Muhammad Ziyad expressed his disappointment at the result in an Instagram post earlier this morning. The 31-year-old father of two posted a simple message that read, "To all fellow Malaysians, I am sorry. Thank you for giving me your support." Since then, messages have continued to come in from across social media in support of Ziyad, from both ordinary citizens as well as celebrities and politicians. Youth and Sports Minister Datuk Sri Ahmad Faizal Azumu was one of the first to express his unhappiness on Twitter, followed by Health Minister Khairi Jamaluddin, who also expressed his disappointment by replying to the tweet from the organisers announcing the decision. Several National Olympic athletes also expressed their regret over the controversy, including national diver Pandelela Rinong. Other Twitter users also expressed disappointment over the decision of the Paralympic Committee, as well as the attitude of the Ukrainian camp in getting Ziyad's gold medal win. Meanwhile, International Paralympic Committee spokesman Craig Spence described the reaction showed by the Malaysians in the social media as very abusive, with much of it targeted the Ukraines.
What has happened since then is there's been a massive outpouring of emotion from many Malaysians on social media. Very abusive, ridiculous in my view. I mean, yes, you can be unhappy with our decision, but we're now seeing comments on all our social media posts which are nothing to do with the men's shot put F20 event.
Spence also said it was not the Ukrainians' fault and did not see the decision as a harsh penalty. In the meantime, national boccia athlete Chew Wei Lun won silver in the final of the mixed individual BC1 category on Wednesday. The 26-year-old, who is making his Paralympic debut, got off a good start when he led the world number 1 2-0 in the first end before David closed the gap to 2-1 in the second end. David then equalised to 2-2 in the third end before confirming the goal when winning the fourth end with a 4-2 result. David's victory saw him end Bailun's unbeaten run after winning 6 games in a row, including 4 Group B fixtures since Saturday. The achievement increased its silver medal collection to 2 after powerlifting athlete Jong Yi Ki bagged the first in the men's 107 kg category on Monday. And that's it for Nightline this time round. As we wrap up, we leave you with a stunning footage of the ancient and small town of Badami, India, a settlement that is full of mesmerizing cave temples, which were built by early rulers of the country. Take a look. I'm Pritha Manivannan. Thank you for tuning in and stay safe.